Hey guys, Ryan from the Mavericks, mavericks.goldenlandsons.com. This is podcast episode 44. Today we are talking about drama and dollars. A few days ago, I was talking to my personal trainer who was helping me about the process of losing weight. And he said that losing weight is thermodynamics. It is simply a process of eating less calories than your body consumes, right? So if your BMR is roughly 2,000 calories a day and you are eating 1,600, then the body necessarily has to get the remaining 400 calories of fuel from what it has on the inside. And that could be stored food, stored glycogen, muscle, but most likely at the end of glycogen, it's going to be fat. That's what your body is going to try and consume. All right. It is we alone, however, that make the 400 calories that we're trying to burn dramified. It's we who attach the drama to the last 400 calories. So when we have a difficult day, when we have a stressful day, when people have yelled at us, when things are not going our way, when we're sad, when we're depressed, and we associate all the happy moments with food, those 400 calories that we want to create a deficit for, we attach an emotion to it, and then we go after it, and then we eat 400 calories, then another 400. And now instead of eating at 2,000 calories and eating our maintenance, we go to 2,400 calories, maybe 2,800, maybe 3,200. And then we feel guilty and disgusting about the fact that we overate. But in reality, it's not the body, it's not the calories that cause the disgust. It's our emotion tied to those calories, right? So if you look at weight loss as thermodynamics and as science and as physics, you realize that it's actually human drama that attaches to those pounds that make it difficult to lose the weight. But if we just looked at life, if we just looked at weight loss as physics, inputs and outputs, and didn't attach drama to it, it would be much easier to lose weight. But we have to contend with the fact that we're human. All right. When you start a business and you are dealing with money and financial issues, you're unable to pay rent, you're unable to afford marketing, your sales revenue is not that high, you wonder how you're going to pay all the salaries and the bills. What you end up realizing is that we are the ones that attach the drama to the dollars. There are companies right now that operate at a loss, like Uber. Squire was operating at a loss during COVID. Uber has been running at a loss since its inception. Many tech companies run at a loss, and so they seek venture capital funds to finance them until they reach profitability. Many companies operate like this, and yet when we look at them, these people that work there get full-time salaries. Banks continue to finance them. They're still able to get seed funding because they are attaching a different form of drama to the dollars. It's positive drama. It's like hype. It's sales attached to the possible ROI. So we look at it and we're like, that company's operating at a loss, but one day it'll turn to a gain, and I want to be part of it, right? So we jump on it. And then when people jump on it, the value of that stock rises or the value of that business rises. And so the value of the business goes up, even though it's operating, its cash flow is negative. But then on the other hand, if a financial statement comes out and says, oh, that business is not doing so well, it's going to become insolvent, the CEO left, their key engineers have left, or their key tech guys have left, then all of a sudden we look at the whole value of the company and it's going down. But the funny thing is that its cash flow is still negative. So there are some companies where the value of the company is building up even though the cash flow is negative, and there are other companies where the value is going down and the cash flow is negative. So is there a correlation? The correlation is mostly to do with the fact that the community that is investing in that business, they see a future potential for that business, a future value, and they attach that future value to the present. And so even though the company might be operating in a negative or a positive cash flow, it's irrelevant because their main thing is the future potential of the business, right? So now you look at your business, which might be a small business, and it's operating in a negative cash flow. In the first few months, obviously, you're going to be operating in a negative cash flow because you need to build up sales. But you started the business anyway on the future potential, the future value that your business was going to bring to you. And so you were excited to start the business, even though in the first few months it's going to be negative cash flow. And then a year passes, 2 years pass, and still negative cash flow. And now your future view of the business, your future potential of the business seems to be going down. And now you are devaluing the value of your business while the cash flow is still negative. But what changed? Nothing. The cash flow is still negative. The cash flow is negative when you first started. The cash flow is negative a year or 2 years in. It is we alone who attach the drama to the dollars. We alone who think, oh, this financial performance, this continued financial performance that is negative is a reflection of me as a leader, is a reflection of my business model. It's not going to work. I'll never be able to figure it out. And so we devalue the future potential of our business, and the value of that business goes down along with the cash flow. And then we end up closing it. But I bring up these cases of like these multi-billion-dollar firms that are negative cash flow and yet still have increasing value, because it's the difference between their business and yours. They're both cash flow negative. The difference is the number of zeros, right? But for them, because the zeros are greater and more people are invested in it, there can't be that many stupid people that have invested in that business. That business has to have future value. Therefore, it has to be invested in. Whereas for our business, we don't have too many people investing in it. And so maybe there isn't any value in it. Maybe it's not going to work out. But that's not the reality. This is all internal self-talk. We're just attaching the drama to the performance. So then the question is, should a business be evaluated by its cash flow positivity or negativity? Yes, of course it should. But when you're first starting out the business, you don't do it. And when the business is continuing to year 2, year 3, is that the right time to start evaluating if the business is valuable or not? Maybe not. Maybe you haven't found the formula yet. But I will tell you this. The longer you stay in one business, constantly asking yourself, how am I going to fix this? How am I going to fix this? How am I going to fix this? The more likely you are to solve the problem. And then when you solve the problem, you will have the best business in that industry. Most people cannot survive the 3-year mark mentally. They quit. Most people cannot survive the 5-year mark financially because they run out of cash and they burn out and they don't think it's worth it. But you, if you continue to stick it out, you'll figure it out. And then you'll have one of the biggest businesses in your industry. This happens multiple times. Walmart took 8 years to get to the second location. Dutch Brothers Coffee, a $1 billion coffee business, took 8 years to get to the second location. I think even McDonald's took like 3 years to get to the second location. There are many businesses that take like almost a decade to get to the second location. They need a decade to solidify their system that will lead to cash flow performance, to cash flow positivity. So there is future value for your business because you obviously started it for a reason. But you need to stick it out long enough to figure all the problems that are there. Don't attach any drama to the dollars, right? Actually evaluate the business by its KPIs. Ask yourself, do you still have the money to finance this business? Is it worth investing in? Is there a possibility of future cash flow? Can I figure it out? And Tony Robbins said this actually. He said, if you were determined enough, can you solve the problem? If you're creative enough, could you solve the problem? And so that's the defining human element that leads to success. It's creativity and determination. If you're determined and creative enough, you can solve the problem. So how long are you going to stick it out for? It is we alone attach the drama to the dollars. If we decide I can only stick this out for 3 more years, it's because we've attached drama to the financial performance. We're the ones that say, I'm a failure. People are going to think negative of me. What is my family going to think of me? I knew an employee who, his dad didn't do so well in business. And so when the family separated, there was a negative connotation associated with that dad. I didn't want to have that same connotation. So this is why I always contemplated closing the barbershop. I thought I was following along the same path. Not the case. You just got to stick it out, figure it out. And I've noticed now that the longer that I've stayed in the game, the more connections I make, the more problems I solve, the more people I can ask for help. And so when you stick it out long enough, you end up solving the problem. But again, you need to be able to fight the mental game. You need to see yourself, you need to finally say to yourself, listen, if there are multi-billion-dollar firms that are operating at a cash flow negative and yet increasing in value, I can be one of those companies. And you can. And just because that company has $1 billion invested in it and it's a whole bunch of banks and investment firms and whatever, and you are financing it all by yourself, you're financing your own dream all by yourself, doesn't matter. You believe in it. So you stick to it. All right? Like 100 people can believe in that business and one person can believe in your business, you stick to it. Because you have to remember something. The 100 people that believe in that giant business that's cash flow negative and still increasing in value, those 100 people believe in that business because of the one CEO running the business, or because of the one chairman that's behind the business, right? There's a major sales guy. There's the ultimately responsible person that is the sales guy for that business to all these 100 investors. And because these 100 investors do not want to lose their investment, they'll continue pumping money into this business until it turns around. And the same thing applies for you, except you need to be that ultimately responsible person that is responsible for selling your business to other people. And one day you'll have investors backing you up. All right. There is one more thing I wanted to mention, and it was in regards to investors. These companies that started, they always start by themselves, right? They have to go out there, reach out to people, convince people that their idea works. And it's a lot of bravado. I shouldn't say bravado. It's a lot of it's a lot of clarity on what the future potential of the business is, right? So as you work on your business and you have clarity on the future potential of your business and you can convey that to others, more and more people will want to invest in your business. My brother and I run a luxury barbershop. We thought this business was going to end during COVID, over 4 years. Or 3 years. We thought this business was going to end over COVID. And what happened? A couple of my brother's friends came up to him and said, the second location, you make this one business work, the second location will help you with it. And we have a dream of opening to Miami, LA, and New York. So now these investors, if they invest in the second location and it turns out to have a positive ROI, third location, fourth location, fifth location, they get to invest and they get a positive ROI. We do all the work, they do all the financing, and we all become rich. Why? Because we stuck it out. So if you stick it out, people are going to come to your aid. People are going to invest in you. You're going to have the 100 investors circling around you, wanting to put money into your business because you stuck it out and you figured it out. Don't measure yourself by the timeline. Don't measure yourself by the dollars, right? Don't attach drama to the dollars. Try to look past it. Try to look through it. And listen, one final thing. If you're Catholic, if you're Christian, I'm Catholic. I'm devoutly Catholic. When you meet me at the shop, you'll notice it, okay? So, when you're Catholic, when you're Christian, and you believe in God, or whatever religion, you believe in God though, you have to understand that God has an eternal perspective. And we sort of expire in the short term. We are but wisps of, in the cosmic scale of things. We're like just wisps of air in the cosmic scale of things. It is really God that is eternal. And so, when you look at everything from the perspective of God, our problems are very minute. Everything that we're playing with, it's really small. You might be $18,000 in debt right now. There are billionaires that are $1 billion in debt. And it's laughable. What's the difference? Both human beings, both with organs, both with 24 hours in the day, but one is dealing with more negative equity than another person is, right? But the billionaire who's negative $1 billion, he's not attaching as much drama to his negative $1 billion as we are as small business owners when we attach negativity to our minus 1,000 or minus 1,800 or minus 18,000, right? Because we're attaching the drama to it. The billionaire has the confidence to believe that he can get out of the situation that he's in, but we don't. All we have to do is get that confidence. And again, that comes with sticking it out. Again, that comes with not attaching the dramas to the dollars, having an eternal perspective of the work that we're doing, and realizing that in the end, God is in control of everything. God's going to make everything work out. You just got to trust in God. And you also got to stick it out. So no giving up. Again, this is Ryan from the Mavericks, mavericks.goldwinandsons.com. If you want to join us, mavericks.goldwinandsons.com. Just go there, put your email in, and then in one of the email threads that comes through, just indicate, I'm a Maverick. Click on that button, and I'll add you to the list. And then if you're, if you want to be part of any Mavericks events, any special events, any secret codes to our speakeasy, if we launch that, then you're in. Again, this is Ryan from the Mavericks. Take care. And I'll see you there. I got that backwards, but you know what I mean. Take care.